I was working 16-hour days. When I saw there was sustainable work coming in, that's when I realized, okay, I feel safe enough to hire someone. Sales is the holy grail. I mean,
The last thing I want to give away is sales. I think owners sell the best.
the only thing that makes a business is the fact that there's an exchange of value for money.
The more A players you hire, the faster you'll be out of that.
America's backbone was built on blue-collar business grit, grind, and muscle. This is where you stop working for the business, and the business starts working for you.
All right, Blue Collar Millionaires. Today we're going to be talking about from the band to the vault, to something many of you ask about. Chris and I have been able to do it. It's not easy. It's the way to do it. Chris, what does it mean?
When I was in the van and I was ready to hire, I was working 16-hour days to 17, 18-hour days. And physical work was about 10-hour days. And then the rest was the marketing, the sales, quality control, maintenance, because you still have equipment you have to clean up on.
Yeah.
And I just found myself feeling like a zombie. And when I saw there was sustainable work coming in, that's when I realized, okay, I feel safe enough to hire someone. So you have to find the threshold. And I would say the threshold is when you feel like there is a level of sustainable growth taking place. And then you have to realize as soon as you put that person in place, now you're going to have to pull back and start marketing and selling aggressively again to build it back up. So it really is a stretch. It's like taking a rubber band and stretching it out. And when it gets to where it's about to break, that's when you hire the person, and then it gives it back to where it's not stretched to its limit. That was my experience. But once you have the foundation of team members built, then it doesn't feel as aggressive of a stretch. And now you can sit there and spread the stretch over the team, and you can add a couple of hours to all of your team's day, and then you're able to stack up a new person or team together, and then you take those hours back off and drop them back down to 40. So maybe they're working 50-hour weeks until you see that that is sustainable. Then you drop them back down to that 45 hour.
I like that old method. Always push it to the limit. So I think here's the steps, just spitfiring. You start off, you're a one-man gang. You're working all the time. You're doing stuff at night. Then you get a helper. You get two helpers. I think I'm a fan of, it's hard, but working as much as you can on revenue-producing activities during the day and all the other stuff at night. So you should be doing that. And then I like to start pulling away. You start saying, this is what I did with lawns back in the day. I was cutting lawns for 12 hours a day with guys, doing all that stuff. And then I was like, all right, guys, I'm leaving at 3 today. You're going to finish the lawns till 6:30. I'm going to go do sales. Then I was till 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock, and I'm getting momentum. And then it was a point where I was like, I should start taking 2 full days a week and half days. And then you have to produce.
Yeah.
And you have to commit to it at some point. And there is a possibility it won't work. And there's lots of guys who downsize again. They say, hey, I got rid of a lot of people. I went back. I'm more profitable with 3 guys. If that's the worst thing that happens to you, that's not the end of the world.
Yeah, I think in the beginning, I mean, sales is the holy grail. I mean, that lead is the most important thing coming into your view, and you have to focus on that lead to close it, to turn it into revenue. And so that is a revenue producing activity. And then the secondary activity is going to be where you're physically doing the fulfillment, the operation, the production portion of the business. Most people get in the business because they're technicians that say, I can do this better. I can build something. I can have more freedom of time, which is really at this point in the game to me hysterical. But we all get into it thinking that we're going to have more free time, but it's right the opposite in the beginning. You have zero free time in the beginning to build up. But most people, it takes them about 4 or 5 years in, and then they start seeing themselves being able to have a little more time freedom, because now they've got enough revenue where they can stack leadership inside of their business. But you've got to get your leads, then you've got to take those leads to sell, then you do the fulfillment so you can collect. The only thing that makes a business is the fact that there's an exchange of value for money. So focus on your leads, turning those into sales, then you can start worrying about the operational side, And we just recently opened up a newer division in our one of our businesses, and I don't have all the operational pieces together. I've got a base understanding, but I just went out and started selling it, and I'm learning it. And I think this is where the fake it till you make it scenario and terminology comes in, because if you sit in the background and just try to plan it out 100%, you will never get to go mode, and you will never see money come across the table. So focus on the sales, then you can perfect the operational side so that your customers receive high quality, and you're not going to drop the ball on them. I've done it multiple times. You get out there, you just turn into a little more of a firefighter than what you normally would be on the operational side when you don't have the systems built. But it's a much better feeling of knowing you've got people trying to hand you money instead of having all of the operational perfected, but you have nobody ready to hand you money for that perfected operation. Yeah, that's a tough place to be.
And I like the last thing I want to give away is sales. I think owners sell the best. When I hear an owner, he's like, "Man, I need to get sales guys. I'm not good at sales." Honestly, well, you're in trouble, because this should be super easy for you. You're just talking about your business and what you do. When you look at like our windshield business, they were in the we bought a business, so I had employees that was going, but there was a lot of things to fix. They were in the business fixing stuff.
Yeah.
Then they kind of separated. Mike was doing more operation, Matt was doing more sales, and Mike got that fixed. He started doing sales. Then we got tons of sales. We got a flow of work. It was too much. They had to back down the sales, get the operations under control. We hired what now? 6 new people who are doing all the CSR, the operations, everything. Now they're back on sales, but now they pulled one of the guys from the CSRs and teaching him sales. And now we have that new guy, James, that just started sales. So that's the next evolution of you're good at sales. You taught people how to do operations, and now you teach people how to sell too. We're going to have Mark Andrew here later. He has perfected that, teaching other guys to go sell. That's when you can really get away from your business.
I agree with and I don't know there's not a certain number because it's going to change from industry to industry, but yeah, the founder should hand off sales very last. And we're talking about we're talking about trade, blue collar businesses. Maybe this is different when you get into different types of industries like SaaS or whatever. But when it comes to person sales, that founder's got a different passion. Even on my recruiting side, that was something that I hand off at the very last thing I hand off, because I can sell my vision and my story better than anyone else can do it. And when people get into the office with me and I'm asking them, why do you think we should hire you, and what type of skill set are you going to bring? And those type questions are being asked, and I start talking about what we do. They're ready to jump on the ship right then. They're ready to go. But that's because they're talking to the founder, and my vision is there, and I can see it greatly. And as you start building, you've got to make sure that you're communicating that vision to your leaders, because as those leaders start taking over those roles and responsibilities, they need to be able to deliver the same level of passion and enthusiasm towards that vision as you do.
That would be the last spot I give away.
Yeah.
And that would be whoever's going to be your operator, run your company. They understand your vision. They're a carbon copy of you. They got to sell it the same way.
Yeah, you've got that on your gutter business, and there's probably
we got who want
right in the business, because she handles them. She's able to manage them, and
I show them, bring them on, and it's exactly what I can expect.
And when you get to that level, that's when it really starts getting nice. That's when you start having fun. You start taking walks like you do on Blue Collar Millionaire.
Go to Disney and you're
do it live. Yeah, and that brain space is where you're able to start really get you're able to really start perfecting your business and scaling it and growing it, because now you walk through the office and you talk to some key employees, and you're able to really see what's happening and get a feel of it. And when that quiet time is able to be set aside, this is why people say when you go do your business planning, go do business planning retreats and get away from the business, out of the office, because nothing can take place the same way it does when you're out of the office. Because when you're in the office, you're in the tactical mode, not the strategic mode. When you get on a business planning retreat, it's going to be more strategic. You get to sit there and think, well, what's going well here? Why are we still doing this? Like, I just dropped a massive division of my company, and is what we were founded and started on. But I dropped it, and it's because I had been taking pieces on the weekends and just sitting there and brainstorming about the activities and where we were at, and finally just said, hey, this is the better move for the company to be able to create scale and to reduce stress on the team.
I'll wrap it up with this. The more A players you hire, the faster you'll be out of that. The faster you'll get to that spot where you're not worrying about stuff. You're making a lot more money. If you're hiring C and D players, you're never going to get there. The only way to do that is if you're getting B and C people, but you have an A player managing them.
Yeah. And you're going to start with those lower
You do it because you do.
and then you have to know that they're going to get traded out. Maybe one out of 50 will stick with you to rise, but most of them will be cycled out as you move through the years and grow.
Just like sometimes you have a starter business when you first start and you know this isn't going to be your end all. You'll have people working for you. They're not going to be around. If you get to that point, you're going to turn it into a $5, $10, $15 million business. They're not going to be around.
Agreed.
All right, guys, we'll see you next week.